Welcome to HyperScale Video Workshop. My name is Brett Green, just entering the 7th week of lockdown in Sydney here for the second time. But the postman has brought me a little bit of joy here just a few minutes ago, delivering a box that included Eduard's 1/48 scale Eagle's Call, Spitfire Mk.Vb and Mk.XIV in 48 scale. Now, as far as Eduard are concerned, the Mk.V is pretty much a missing link, because up until this stage they have produced every standard day fighter variant from the Mk.I up to the Mk.XVI, and the Mk.V was the only one missing. I have a very biased reason to be looking forward to this, because the Royal Australian Air Force used the Mk.XIV very widely in the Southwest Pacific and Australian fronts. So I've really been looking forward to seeing this. It's not that we haven't had Mk.XIV Spitfires before, but they just hadn't really been up to the standard that we might have hoped. Well, I think that's probably all changed now. Let's take a look in the box. Once again, this isn't a review, this is just an initial unboxing video so I can share the joy of having a look at the contents for the very first time. One of the downsides of this format of one take unboxing reviews is that I can often come up with mistakes, but I'll let you know when I do, and I'll be posting a full text review with high resolution photos probably at the end of this week. But without any further ado, let's have a look in the box. Quite a big box. It's common for Eduard to release new variants in a limited edition kit and sometimes dual kits as well, and they have done that this time. So let's see what we have. The box is chock-a-block full, and the first thing we find is a bag with several sets of wings and fuselage. So let's just have a look at that. And this is, okay, so we have the B wing here. We can tell by the shape of the blisters on the top of the wing and also the blisters on the bottom of the wing. So that's the B wing, and I believe that that is sprue, I think it's sprue D, and it's marked Spitfire Mark 1 to 5, so I think that this is going to be the same B-wing that we've seen in the Mk.2B kit as well. Shakespearean, that is. 2B or not 2B? Well, apparently it's 2B. The next sprue, is the one we've all been waiting for, or at least I have, and that's the Mk.XIV wing. We can see that Eduard has moulded this with the cannon panels on the upper wing as separate parts, and I imagine the reason they've done that is because there are 2 or 3 different styles, depending on who you talk to, of these blisters. There are 2 styles of wide blister and also a narrow blister. Although there was provision for 4 cannon on the C-wing, for the most part, certainly in RAAF service, there were only 2 cannon actually fitted to the wing. Hence the different types of blisters. We've actually got 3 fuselage sprues here, and there are, let's see, there's sprue J, is this one here, and obviously one of these is going to be the B variant, and one of them is going to be the C variant. I believe that this is going to be the 5B fuselage. Once again, very nice, nice fine surface textures, lovely recessed panel lines, very, very subtle rivets. You couldn't be offended by that. Very nice indeed. So yes, there are 2 identical sprue J's, and I suspect that they are going to be the B wing, the B style. And then we have sprue, interestingly, does that have a sprue? It's got a sprue number 5, which is a bit unusual. Let's see if we can get it in focus first. There we go. So it's got a sprue 5 on it, which is a first for me. I don't remember a numbered sprue. But I believe this is probably going to be the 5C, the new fuselage for the 5C. So it would appear that what we have are a couple of fuselages and a wing that we would have seen in the Mk.XIV kit before, and the brand new wing and brand new fuselage for the Mk.XIV that we've just seen here as well. So let's see what else we have. What else looks like it's new? Oh, here we go. I won't actually unpack all of the parts. I'll just unpack the bits that we haven't seen before. And that certainly falls into this category. And here we are. Right, goodie-o. So we have lots of goodies here. Let's unpack this and see what we have. So we have different styles of cannon for the leading edge of the wing. We have clipped wingtips. We have what appear to be probably it's a 250-pound bomb, and some racks there as well. There's an Abu-Kir filter. There is a large slipper tank there. Might be 50 gallon, might be 75 gallon. I'm not 100% sure. There is a Vokes filter as well on here. So they're both the Vokes and the Abu-Kir are the deeper tropical filters for the Mk.XIV. I think the Vokes filter might have been fitted to the 5B as well at some stage. We've got different length rear sections for the carburetor intakes, I guess, depending on whether you've got the standard chin or the Abu-Kir or the Vokes filter. We have 3 styles of cannon blister. So we have the large one with the sort of a bit flatter front. We've got one here with the more sort of fish-shaped blister, and then the narrow blister for the 2 cannon configuration as well. There's our other 250-pound bomb. I wondered where that was. And we've got sway braces and racks and all sorts of goodies. Looks like a couple of blisters there for the bottom of the wing on the 5C. So yeah, lots of really interesting goodies there. And we have 2 of those sprues. I cannot recall off the top of my head if we've seen this sprue before, but it is sprue S, and what we have here are what appear to be rotole blades, propeller blades. Is that de Havilland? I think it might be de Havilland if we can get it in focus. Get my head out of the way. There we go. Propeller blades. We have some racks here. We have 3 styles of exhausts. We've got a 6-stack exhaust, which I guess you could use for some of the old hacks that used to be used around D-Day. They were retrofitted with 6 stack exhausts, and 2 3-stack exhausts there as well, the fishtail and the earlier style. We have a couple of different styles of spinner cap, as well as the spinner base plates. Oh, and there's another style of the exhaust as well. Yes, I think we have actually seen this one before, and a 3rd propeller too. So that all looks very nice. Oh, and a small slipper tank too. So that's one of the smaller versions of the slipper tanks. And there's a 2nd sprue which is exactly the same as that as well. And I think the other, yes. So we've got a couple of sets of bagged sprues that have appeared, I think, in common with all of the Spitfire kits from the Mk.I up until this Mk.V. So I won't go through those in any great detail because there are a lot of redundant parts there that don't apply to the Mk.V anyway, and that's just a separate bag with the same stuff in it. I've got a feeling the clear parts are probably exactly the same as we've seen in the Mk.I and the Mk.II variants up until now, so you'll have lots of welcome spare parts in your spares box after you finish this model, because we can see that we have lots and lots of varieties here. We've got everything from the flat early Mk.Is through to the late windscreens with the internal armour as well as external armour. We have clear wingtips that will be handy if you don't like painting navigation lights on the corners of your wingtips. And there are separate parts available for either the open or closed canopies. So that's it for the plastic parts, and the second bag obviously with the second set of sprues. Unusually for one of these limited edition kits, we don't get any brass, but we do have the always welcome colour photo etch for the instrument panel, for the radiator faces, for the armour plate behind the pilot's head, the oil cooler intakes, the harness straps, and a whole stack of little itsy bitsy bits as well. So they're all good. And of course we have the fantastic self-adhesive die cut masks. I love these things. Call me lazy, please call me lazy, but boy, it just makes life so much easier, particularly when you're on the home straight of a modelling project. It's wonderful just to be able to pull these masks out and slap them on in a few minutes. We have also the all-American rather gigantic decal sheet. It's a big one. So we have two decal sheets. One of them has stencil markings on it. We can see at the back. And wow, that's a big decal sheet, and it's got lots and lots of markings on it. I'll just sort of whip it out of the bag for a moment. It looks like it's the current style of Eduard produced decal sheets with the carrier film that can be peeled off after it's been applied to the model. Yes, by the look of it. And there it is. Once again, the only comment that I would make is with these decal sheets, I've tested them out on a couple of occasions, and the whites are quite opaque. They look good. You can peel off the backing, the carrier film on the front after the decals have dried. The other thing I've done is I've actually peeled off the carrier film before I've cut them off the decal sheet, and I find that is very reliable and very easy to do. And then I've just sort of brushed a bit of decal maker onto the decal, waited for it to dry, and that's worked really well for me actually. So the only real comment that I have that I don't like is that the yellow on these decal sheets tends to be a little bit pale, a bit too lemony for my tastes. But you know, it's a minor criticism, and you can always replace any yellow decals with aftermarket or something in your spares box. So very nice. So they're all American options in this one, hence the Eagle's call. It's not unusual for Eduard to come up with a specialised theme for these limited edition kits. I've got no problem with that, because there are some very interesting schemes on here, and I've got lots of decals for RAAF aircraft anyway. So we have the colour guide for markings A to L. If I could, what is that? That's quite a lot. That's 12 or 13 markings. And there's some nice variations in here too, with unusual multicolours, as well as day fighter scheme and the tropical schemes. So there's lots to keep you busy there. And I think that's it. That's the box. Wow, okay, so Eduard Eagle's call. At last we have the missing link of the Mk.V.B and 5C.